Picture this. Right now, as you're watching this video, there are mysteries happening all around us that science still can't explain. I'm talking about phenomena so bizarre, so mind-bending, that they challenge everything we think we know about reality itself. What if I told you there's a hum that millions of people hear worldwide, but scientists have no idea what's causing it? Or that there are places on Earth where the laws of physics seem to just break down? Friends, write in the comments where you're watching us from and hit that like button if you want to find out what's the most surprising and unexpected thing. Let's start with something that's probably happening to someone right now, somewhere in the world. The Tao's hum. Imagine living your normal life when suddenly you start hearing this low-frequency humming sound. It's not your refrigerator, it's not construction work, it's not traffic, it's something else entirely. Only about 2% of the population can hear it, but for those who do, it's absolutely maddening. Scientists have been studying this phenomenon since the 1990s, and they're still completely stumped. Some people describe it as the sound of a diesel engine idling in the distance. Others say it's like a massive electrical transformer humming. But here's the really weird part. When they try to record it with sensitive equipment, they can't pick up anything unusual. It's like the sound exists only in certain people's heads, but it's not tinnitus, and it's not a medical condition. The mystery deepens when you realize this isn't just happening in Taos. Similar hums have been reported in Bristol, England, in Bondi, Australia, and dozens of other locations worldwide. Now let me tell you about something even stranger. The Devil's Kettle Falls in Minnesota. This waterfall does something that should be impossible according to basic physics. The Brule River flows normally until it hits this rocky outcrop. Then it splits in two. One half continues downstream like any normal river would, but the other half just vanishes. It disappears into what looks like a giant natural drain, and nobody knows where that water goes. Scientists have tried everything to solve this puzzle. They've dropped GPS devices, ping-pong balls, colored dye, even biodegradable materials into that hole. None of it has ever been found downstream, not anywhere in the surrounding area, not in nearby lakes or rivers. The water just disappears, as if it's entering another dimension, taking with it thousands of gallons every single minute. But wait, it gets even more mind-boggling when we talk about the Bermuda Triangle effect that's happening in space. NASA calls it the South Atlantic Anomaly, and it's essentially a zone where satellites and spacecraft malfunction for no apparent reason. Imagine you're an astronaut on the International Space Station. Everything's running perfectly, and then you hit this invisible wall of weirdness. Computers start glitching, instruments go haywire, and astronauts sometimes report seeing strange flashing lights even with their eyes closed. This anomaly stretches from Brazil to South Africa, and it's getting bigger every year. Some scientists think it's connected to Earth's magnetic field weakening in that region, but that doesn't explain why it affects human perception too. Now, speaking of things that shouldn't exist, let me blow your mind with something called the WOW signal. On August 15th, 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio picked up something that changed everything we thought we knew about extraterrestrial life. Dr. Jerry Ehman was analyzing data when he saw a signal so powerful, so clearly artificial, that he circled it on the printout and wrote "Wow" next to it. This wasn't just any signal. It was exactly the frequency that hydrogen atoms emit when they flip their electrons spin. Scientists had theorized that if intelligent aliens wanted to communicate with other civilizations, they'd use this exact frequency because any species advanced enough for space communication would know about hydrogen. The signal lasted for exactly 72 seconds, was incredibly strong, and came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. Despite decades of searching with more powerful equipment, we've never detected it again. It was like someone sent us one perfect message and then went completely silent. Some skeptics say it could have been satellite interference or a natural phenomenon, but the signal matched extraterrestrial communication criteria so perfectly that it's still considered our best evidence of possible alien contact. Now, imagine if I told you there are places on Earth where gravity works backwards, where balls roll uphill and water flows in the wrong direction. These places are called gravity hills, and they exist all over the world, in California, Pennsylvania, Canada, India, and dozens of other locations. Visitors drive to these spots, put their car in neutral, and watch in amazement as their vehicle starts rolling uphill. The most famous one is probably Spook Hill in Florida, where thousands of tourists come every year to experience this impossible phenomenon. Friends, write in the comments where you're watching us from, and hit like if you want to know what's the most surprising and unexpected thing. But here's where it gets really weird. Scientists have studied these gravity hills extensively, and they've discovered something that will completely change how you think about reality. These hills aren't actually defying gravity at all. Your brain is lying to you. What's happening is one of the most powerful optical illusions in nature, where the horizon line is completely obscured by trees or hills. Your brain uses the horizon as its reference point for what's level, but when you can't see it, your mind gets completely confused about which direction is actually up. The road that appears to go uphill is actually going downhill at a slight angle, but the surrounding landscape tricks your brain into thinking the opposite. It's like your entire perception of reality can be hijacked by missing one simple reference point. But that's nothing compared to our next mystery, which involves something so bizarre that it challenges everything we know about life and death. In 1907, a doctor named Duncan McDougall conducted one of the most controversial experiments in scientific history. He wanted to prove that the human soul had physical weight by measuring people at the exact moment they died. McDougall placed dying patients on incredibly precise scales and monitored their weight continuously as they passed away. What he discovered was absolutely shocking. At the moment of death, each person lost exactly 21 grams of weight instantly. The weight loss happened immediately when the heart stopped beating, with no medical explanation for where that mass could have gone. McDougall repeated the experiment with animals, dogs, sheep, and other creatures, but found no weight change at all when they died. This led him to conclude that only humans possess souls with measurable weight, exactly 21 grams. Modern scientists have tried to debunk this experiment, claiming it was methodological flaws or moisture loss, but they've never been able to fully explain the consistent 21-gram measurement. The mystery deepens when you realize that 21 grams is also the exact weight of a hummingbird's heart, and in many cultures, hummingbirds are considered messengers between the living and the dead. But perhaps the most mind-bending mystery of all involves something that's happening to you right now as you watch this video. You think you're experiencing this moment in real time, but neuroscience has discovered that consciousness actually runs about half a second behind reality. Your brain is constantly editing your experience of reality, creating the illusion that you're living in the present moment when you're actually experiencing the past. This is called the flash lag effect, and it means everything you think you're seeing, hearing, and feeling happened half a second ago. Your brain is essentially a biological time machine, constantly traveling back to make sense of what just happened and presenting it to you as now. This delay exists because your brain needs time to process all the sensory information coming in and create a coherent story of reality. But here's the really crazy part. Your brain actually predicts the future to compensate for this delay. When you catch a ball or dodge an obstacle, your brain is making split-second calculations about where things will be, not where they are. This means you're simultaneously living in the past, present, and future all at once, and your consciousness is the story your brain tells to make it all feel seamless. Think about that. The very experience of being you is actually a carefully constructed illusion created by your brain to help you navigate a reality you're always slightly behind on. Every memory you have, every decision you make, every emotion you feel is filtered through this incredible biological machine that's constantly rewriting your story. And the most amazing part, despite all our scientific advances, we still have absolutely no idea how consciousness actually works or why we experience being alive at all. You are literally the universe becoming aware of itself, a collection of atoms that somehow learn to think and feel and wonder about their own existence. These 10 mysteries remind us that reality is far stranger and more wonderful than we ever imagined. From alien signals that vanish without explanation to the weight of the human soul, from gravity that plays tricks on our minds to consciousness that operates outside of time itself. We live in a universe where the impossible happens every day, where the deepest mysteries hide in plain sight, and where the greatest enigma of all might just be the fact that we're here to wonder about it.